Welcome to part one of my story. I do go on a little bit of a tangent here and there. I just hope that what I share resonates with you. If you need support, please leave a comment. My email address is available on my channel. Any sort of chronic illness diagnosis, I literally get emotional talking about it, is so scary. And I just want you to know that you're not alone and that we live in a very toxic world and you can shift that. You have the power to do that. I'm so passionate about what I'm offering, and I really hope that you can learn something and be inspired to just take your power back. You have the power within, and I hope that you just trust that it has never left. It just takes time and a little bit of work to find it again. So welcome. And thank you for listening, and thank you for your support. If you've been diagnosed with a chronic illness, you will know that the moment that happens, it literally feels like your whole world is turned upside down. A whole new reality begins and you have no control over it. I will start to share parts of my story as I really hope from a very deep place that my story resonates and you feel a little bit less alone. The day that I got my epilepsy diagnosis was a day that felt very, very scary. And also, because of all the medications I was on, it was the biggest blur. I do know that it was also a day that completely changed my life. I sit here on this mat telling the story very intentionally because it's on my mat and through my body that I came back to myself and really returned to the inner wisdom of what my body was saying. Okay, this is going to heal you. Do this. And I mean, it's really interesting coming from a place where, I did a little bit of yoga, but never really took time to search inward. There was nothing in my life that ever prompted me to do that. And so that was the start, a diagnosis and a immediate, what felt like a slap across the face to just wake up and to take a good look at how did I get here? And the unraveling of that has been insane. I think it started off with the very basics. Those basics were, okay, drinking alcohol needs to stop immediately. Prior to my diagnosis, I used alcohol a lot and also used it, and I only noticed this after I stopped. So it's a very interesting shift in perspective. Now noticing like, oh wow, I was not dealing with my emotions. I used alcohol on the weekends to escape my life, my emotions, to escape the stress of work, the stress of just everyday life. And I wasn't able to sit in any sort of discomfort. So that was the first thing. And I think that's a big thing in our world, it's very normalized to pour toxic fluid into your digestive system, and therefore it's absorbed into your entire body. And so that was number one. Number two was getting off of any sort of medications that can counteract, contradict, interact with the medication that the doctor had prescribed me. And so becoming very clear on what am I putting into my body, and then in turn also eating. So prior to, there's always a before seizure, after seizure. Prior to the diagnosis, I wouldn't say I had an eating disorder, but it could potentially have been labeled that way. There was a relationship with food that wasn't necessarily very healthy. And so that immediately shifted. I knew there was just something, it was like a flip that switched in my brain that was like, anything and everything I'm going to do to heal my body, I'm going to do it. And it was just this relentless pursuit. It has taken years to get to where I am now, which is a reversed diagnosis from a Western neurologist. Okay? I didn't think that that was ever possible for me. I honestly never ever thought that as a possibility. I thought that this diagnosis would loom over my head for the rest of my life. I also am medication free, so I'm completely off medication. I'm not suggesting come off your medication at all. I worked very closely with my neurologist. I also had rigorous testing on my brain, on my body, and tried to induce seizures to see where it was coming from, how it was working. No test was able to pick up any sort of abnormality in my brain. And so these were the markers that gave me hope that I can take the power back. I'm also not saying that if you have a diagnosis and they can pick it up in your brain or whatever your chronic illness is, I'm not saying that if it's picked up on a test, you are lost forever. I think anything that you can work with that is information, use it as information rather than a debilitating piece of information that feels like makes you feel like there's no hope. The story might be a little bit all over the place, but I think this is, I guess, part one to I did it all on my own with the help of friends, family, and Western medical doctors as well. I cannot for a moment dismiss the power of Western medicine that marries with inner wisdom and inner medicine. We live in a world that is very toxic. It doesn't matter where you are in the world geographically, doesn't matter what industry you're in, there is toxicity, there's darkness everywhere you go. That is the same as the medical industry. You will be fed lies, you will have narrow-minded doctors, and this is the journey of seeking the power within yourself. And this is literally how I got to the name Power Within. You have the power and the sovereignty within your own being to make decisions on your health and how to get better. It is also not overnight. We are also fed information that, this is a quick fix, take this pill. Nature and your body is not a quick fix.